heaven there is no beer. That's why we drink it here. And when we are gone from here, our friends will be drinking our beer.
Hello, wonderful listeners, and welcome to Boomy and the Ham, the podcast where our sports conversations will make you feel like you are losing brain cells. I'm Ham, your host, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for another amazing episode of Boomy and the Ham. And here we go. What is going on, everybody? Sorry for the hiatus, but we are back. Little backstory. Last week's episode, actually, I fucked it up, and I was having a conversation with myself the whole time. So you could not hear Boomer, and so we are running it back, but we are going to be doing a little bit of college football talk, more football talk, NFL football talk, Caleb Williams is a god talk, all those great things. Right, Boomy?
Yeah, Caleb Williams is a god. Totally.
So, I mean, you could sound a little bit more enthusiastic for me, but without further ado, here we go. So, I mean, where do we? Preseason's over. I mean, we blinked and 3 weeks are up. So what do you got to take away from your New York Jets?
Well, the one thing I will say is that the Jets running back room seems to be crowded.
Okay.
Definitely seems to be crowded, which is a
Mhm.
good thing.
Mhm.
But I mean, between obviously Brees is number one. You got the two rookies, Davis and Allen, as the other part of that freaking trio. So the odd man out looks like the guy who everybody was obsessed with last year, the Izzy Adebakanda.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, he seems to be the odd man out. We don't know if they're going to try and get him on special teams or not, but if he's going to make the roster, he's going to have to do some special teams probably returns. But I mean, you got Xavier Gibson who fucking walked off the Bills week one last year, so I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be answered, but from what it seems like, the receiving core looks good between the two youngsters from last year, Brownlee and Gibson. They seem to be coming along very nicely. Rodgers seems okay for now, knock on wood, but I mean, they what was it? I think it was like 3 straight plays against the Giants. The fucking dude fucking sacked him. It was like 3 straight plays in the Giant game or something like that. Like 3 straight stacks. I mean, the defense is ready to roll, baby.
Defense does
I'm
look
trying not
good.
to get too excited.
Yeah, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers can make it past 4 plays, I think you guys are going to be really good.
Yeah.
A lot of bets have, Brees Hall, touchdown scorer, and Garrett Wilson and receiving yards leader this year. So, um, what do you think about? Are you okay? Better, I guess, question slash connecting point.
Mm-hmm.
This may just be me, and I said this earlier, and I think it should apply to you.
Go ahead.
Are you as nervous as I am for how much hype our teams have?
No, I, where you are now, that was me last year.
Okay, so
Like, so
you're kind of expecting to be really good.
not really. Honestly, I'm expecting something bad to happen. Like, honestly, like I'm actually expecting. I'm not getting myself hyped up again. Like, I'm excited for the Jets, but last year was the ultimate kick in the fucking nuts for me. Like, and you know what the sad thing is I was in TAPS, so I was in a separate class, and this year on week one I'm also in a separate class.
Oh no.
Like, so yeah, so I'm not even on the shift work any for that week, and I just noticed it today. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna fucking happen again, and it's a Monday night game.
against
And
San
I'm just,
Francisco.
I swear to fucking God, dude,
Oh man.
losing
Um.
my mind because like last year I was where you're at, right? Like all the pieces were there to be great again. All
Mhm.
the pieces were there. The defense was good. Zach Wilson was on the fucking bench where he belongs. Rodgers looked good in the preseason. You know, we were ready, and I've never was more excited ever. And then 4 plays in, it was gone. It was fucking gone.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And it was just so this year I'm excited to watch football in the Jets, but I got off that top step. I'm just in the middle, just hanging out and expecting the worst, but hoping for the best. But where
um.
you're at, I was last year, and I think you should be excited and just like I said, hope for the best.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go kind of on a rant a little bit, and I said this. I may have said this on an earlier pod.
Go for it.
But so where do I start? Okay. Offense looks good. I think our
Yep.
play calls are better. We're actually throwing the ball downfield because I think we have somebody who can throw the ball downfield. Not saying Justin Fields couldn't. I just don't think he was as accurate and had the pocket presence that I've seen Caleb Williams have thus far. Now, I also, on Twitter, or X, or what do you want to call it, am the biggest fucking Caleb Williams glazer out there. Most of it is joking because deep down, I'm like, these are kind of basic throws. Like that one where he's rolling out, like sure that was a really good, he boots to the left, throwing across his body and drops it right into Rome Odunze's breadbasket. Awesome throw.
Mm-hmm.
I saw fucking Tyson Bagent do that. I saw Bryce Young do that, and I'm pretty sure fucking Spencer Rattler do that this preseason. So, I mean, is it just because we haven't had somebody who can do that basic of a throw in since Jay Cutler? Probably. But like it just I Caleb Williams looks really fucking good. I will say that. But we only saw him throw 20 passes all preseason or 25 passes like
Mm-hmm.
in my mind preseason, I know you don't want your guy to get hurt. Preseason is reps. Get as many fucking reps as you can, right? Caleb Williams isn't Patrick Mahomes. Caleb Williams should be throwing more passes during preseason than Patrick Mahomes. Like,
Yep.
that
Yeah,
is
you're absolutely
fucking
right.
super basic in my mind. And, like, he threw 20 something passes this preseason. No touchdown passes. One that was on Romo Dunze. He, like, tiptoes in the corner of the end zone, and he's just out of bounds. Like, situational awareness. I think if you ran that same scenario 10 more or 9 more times Rome Odunze is going to be in bounds. But, it is what it is, mental error. But I want to see Caleb Williams I want to see him play for like a half. I want to see him throw, you know, in a half. I want to see him throw 26 passes. Why not? Just fucking let him air it out. Just pass the ball all game or all half. It's preseason. Who gives a fuck? Just let him get those reps against a live defense. Um
Yeah.
and so that's kind of my rant. Like I think Caleb Williams looked good. I think he's going to be a really fucking good quarterback. I honestly think he could potentially be our first guy to throw for 4,000 yards if he doesn't get hurt or any of the wide receivers get hurt. Another takeaway,
Yeah.
how you said the running back room was crowded for you guys. Our running back, tight end room, and wide receiver room is pretty crowded. Outside, like running back room is just crowded because you have Roshan Johnson, Wheeler. They moved Velus Jones Jr. to running back, and he looked pretty dang okay. Um, and then you have DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert, right? Like Khalil Herbert and DeAndre Swift are our 1-2 punch, 100%. Roshan Johnson, I think, is our third down back, But there are so many fucking good running backs on our team that like it makes my head spin. Same like wide receivers. I think we have our wide receivers unlocked. Like, um, Colin Johnson, the greatest Johnson ever play NFL. He looked like a stud in the Hall of Fame game and kind of disappeared. But Keenan Allen looked great. Rome Odunze looked great. DJ Moore, of course, looked fucking awesome. And I like how Shane Waldron is like using Gerald Everett as like a speed tight end, to kind of like get guys away from um the wide receivers, or just kind of like, hey, you're a pretty fast tight end, like run a wide receiver route. I think it's pretty cool how we're utilizing him. I would like to see him block more, but tight ends look good. We still have Mercedes Lewis and of course, Cole Kmet, so we're gonna run those two tight end setups that Shane Waldron likes. Um, Another room that's super crowded is our defensive backs. Our defensive backs are so deep. We have fucking playmakers everywhere, and it's like, who do we keep? Because we're so deep in that position. So I like what I saw from the Bears. I think the one thing I would like to see is like you know, and I think it's going to be closer to the trade deadline. Um, but I would really like to see um a blockbuster defensive end trade. I would
I
really.
wonder who you have in mind.
There's a few people, but also at the end of the day, you can't really give up a lot, right? Like you have to build a team with youth if you want to get coherent and and mesh everybody together. You want guys together for 4 or 5 years. You don't want to get a guy like a Hassan Reddick. I would really like, um,
Fucking cancer.
or a um Joey Bosa, right? Like someone who's a veteran, and I think they would create a good presence, but like you're also going to be giving up. I mean, I'm not familiar with Hassan Reddick's game, but what are you thinking? Probably a first, maybe high second round pick for him?
Probably even not at this point. Like, would I love that? Yeah, but I mean, he is kind of at the peak of his game, and he is a premier rusher. So
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever going to give up a first round pick. I mean, the Jets got him for what, a fucking third or a fourth, if
Yeah,
that.
so I mean, you're going to get I mean, that depends, right? Cuz like he's so good that as he plays, I think his stock will rise again. So I think you could probably turn him into a second, maybe not a first. If a team's desperate, fucking maybe. I don't know. Um, but I I don't know. I would I think it all that will come down like either that or a really good three technique depending on how Javon Dexter pans out. I think it's really going to depend on the Bears' overall record. Like, are we looking to be like a playoff team, right?
I mean, you
Um,
should be. You should
yeah,
definitely
but
be
like, no, what
always
I'm saying is
shooting
like,
for
because when's the trade deadline? Like week 10 or something like that?
that. I think they changed it this year, but yeah, I think it's later now. It used to be,
Yes.
I think, week 6. Now it's like week 10.
Okay, so week 10 or whenever it is. I think if the Bears are like, we have a bye week, week 6. So if by week 10 or whenever the trade deadline is, if we have like, let's just say we're 6-3, right? And we're like, hey, we can lock, we have 6 games left or 7 games left, and we could lock the playoffs, like a playoff spot up with, you know, 3 or 4 more wins. We have to go 500. I think it is going to be like a phone call to, you know, maybe the Jets, maybe the Chargers, maybe bring Khalil Mack back to Chicago. Maybe if they really want to get fucking frisky with it, because we have Carolina's second pick next year. I think that's probably going to be the 33rd or 34th pick in the draft. You basically have two top first round draft picks again. Um, so with us picking, if we make the playoffs, we're at like 19, and then we have like a high 30s pick. that high 30s pick and like a later second round pick, you can get a lot of people with that. You could probably get, you know, dare I say, like a freaking Nick Bosa with that. Two first round picks, I mean, a first round pick in 26 or 27 or however you want to do it, and then like Carolina's second next year. So basically, you still have your first, second, all your picks next year. You're just trading away that Carolina pick. Um, you
Are you
know,
saying Nick or Joey?
Nick, two first round picks.
Well,
Um,
Nick just signed his deal, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
yeah, but we've seen that all. I'm pretty sure Khalil Mack did that with the Raiders, and they traded his ass for a bag of fucking chips too.
I thought he was there for at least a couple of years. I mean, Bosa just signed it last year, right?
Last year or the year before, but I mean that's not the thing is, right? Like, here's and maybe it isn't Nick Bosa this year, right? But like, and also this is just like my fucking dark fantasies that I have. We get an edge
Mm-hmm.
rusher, whoever it is, Nick Bosa, fucking T.J. Watt, Miles Garrett, who fucking name a guy, right? That you're like, okay, we needed somebody to take us over the edge. You're gonna take advantage of a team that isn't gonna make the playoffs this year, who needs to rebuild. You have the 49ers who literally can't pay Brock Purdy next year because they have too much fucking capital, right? Or they have too many guys they're paying. So, and they also have to pay Trent Williams. So you want to keep Brock Purdy because he's doing pretty fucking good so far. You got to pay Trent Williams. They're still trying to figure out this Brandon Ayuk thing. Debo Samuel got paid. You know, fucking George Kittle's been paid. I mean, their defense is fucking really good already. So, I mean,
They're
I
gonna
could
have
just see,
guys on the defensive side who are probably gonna want money too, like
yeah,
fucking
exactly.
Warner and Greenlaw are
Yeah,
probably gonna be due
yep,
soon.
yep. So my thought is like, okay, make a trade with them, but also like they probably won't get rid of him. Um,
Nah, they'll
unless,
restructure his contract.
yeah, exactly, they'll restructure his contract or whatever the case may be. Um, but I think the Bears just have to trade for a edge rusher. Long story short, Bears have to trade for an edge rusher, and if we are 6-3, 7-2, 5-4 even, I would hope by week 10 we are around that 6-3, 7-2 area. If we're there, I think we are in striking distance for make the playoffs. Bring in a blue chip defensive edge. Like that would take that defense over the top because then Montez Sweat can do his thing. He's 25 years old. He can go and run rampant, because you can't guard a Nick Bosa, T.J. Watt, Miles Garrett, Hassan Reddick, and fucking Montez Sweat. You can't. It would be impossible.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some good points. I mean, I don't know if I would shoot that high for a edge rusher because all you really need is a closer. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all. That's all you need is an ed for edge rushing. So like, because your defense is fine. Like your defense is,
It is really
you know,
good. I just don't
yeah.
think I think our defensive line is I mean, so Austin Booker, that kid we got out of Kansas, he showed some flashes of greatness. Like he had like 3 sacks this preseason. Like that's he can ball. I think he will probably be
Yeah.
our edge rusher who's starting. Actually, we just signed that kid from Darrell Taylor from Seattle, which is hilarious
Oh
because like
yeah, I
we
saw that.
signed him and I just saw his picture and I literally texted my two friends who were Seahawks fans and I was like, "Hey, Eric and Jake, is this the guy who came out on the 12th, like, came out on the field and blocked for that pick? Do you remember that?"
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he just started blocking and nobody noticed and they're like, "Yep, that's him." I'm like, "Oh, so it's also the same guy who like 5 seconds after Jared Goff threw the ball went and lit him up and celebrated like he just got a game-winning sack." And they're like, "Yep, that's him." And I hadn't heard much about the guy, but I was like, "Hey, how is he?" And they're like, "He was a pretty good prospect, had like 20 sacks in his 2 seasons or whatever. Like, 10 sacks, pretty good guy." Um, they're like, "We definitely thought he was worth more than a 6th round pick, so we kind of robbed him apparently, so that's good."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, everybody wants to upgrade their fucking teams like like now, but you know, the only one that I say should still be on the market is Hassan Reddick because nobody wants to give him money. But I mean, yeah, I guess the middle of the season. But the thing about it, the difference between like the NFL and the NBA and like the MLB and all this stuff is like usually by the trade deadline, some teams are already calling it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like very rare, like obviously the Panthers last year probably by the trade deadline were out, but most of the teams are still somewhat in it that they're not going to wholesale sell because nobody's going to want to take that going into the off season. Like
Yeah.
very rare that trades happen. Like they've happened more recently, but the NFL usually never trades, which I don't know why, but I guess because like jumping in the middle of his football season is a lot different than like NBA and everything else because it's completely different schemes, it's completely different chemistry. You know, throwing a dude straight up in like week 8 really fucks with the team, especially if it's an important position like quarterback. Like that'll throw everything into a fucking mess. But yeah, man. I mean, it's gonna be an interesting season to see, and I wouldn't make any rash decisions yet. If I was the Bears, I would not not even fuck with those picks. I would keep those things and just keep building. That's the reason why the Patriots were always so good other than Tom Brady is that they went for their right guys. They got the right guys that they wanted. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they may have reached sometimes in the first round, but they always got their guy. And I think draft capital is super important in the NFL. And just keep building younger and younger and younger,
Yep.
especially if you have this foundation that you're going to have with Roma Dunze and Caleb Williams as your core. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's two positions you don't have to worry about anymore. Now
Yeah.
you use higher picks on everything else, so you know, and that's why the Chiefs are going to be great from here on out because they're just going to keep getting young fucking talent to go along with Patrick Mahomes, and it's going to be a never-ending fucking cycle of they're going to be the fucking AFC Championship game every fucking year.
Yep. Very
So
true.
yeah.
Side note, I literally got on Twitter and some dude. So apparently Walmart had like they fucked up prices. So they had like Mitchell and Ness Walter Payton jersey, $22. Mitchell and Ness Mike Ditka jersey, $22. Vince or Jim McMahon, Brian Urlacher, like
Hell
all
yeah.
these authentic Mitchell and Ness jerseys for $22. Same with the Eagles, the Jets, everybody. They literally had all these like error on their website, and all these people fucking robbed Walmart, which is hilarious.
Nice. Did they fix it?
Apparently, because I was about to order some shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, damn.
Man, that sucks. Anyways, um, but what? Okay, has there been anybody who's like really, not aside from Jets, anybody who's really surprised you this preseason?
Surprised me.
You know, like Jaden Daniels or JJ. I
Um,
mean, I will say before he got hurt, JJ McCarthy looked fucking awesome.
yeah,
He looked
yeah, he did.
fucking awesome. Um, and then he got hurt, which fucking sucks. You know, I know they're rivals, but I feel terrible for Vikings fans because that's just fucking shitty. Um, but someone else who surprised me, and he's not a rookie, but Bryce Young to when
Yeah.
they played the Bills, and this was the one I was watching most recently.
Hmm.
He fucking looks super confident. And
Yeah.
he's playing against starters, right? He was beating their fucking ass. Um, so I think, you know, it was it's cool to see Bryce Young, I know it is preseason, but I really like we fucking robbed them blind. I do hope nothing but success for Bryce Young because like just to hear the noise of like, oh, CJ Stroud this and CJ Stroud that, like, you know, you were picked number one for a reason, and
Mhm.
I think I think he was a better quarterback prospect coming out of college. Um, I just think in my opinion, if you put Bryce Young on the Texans, I think you probably get the same outcome that they had.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
the Panthers are a fucking dumpster fire. Like,
Well, it's just crazy to see, and I've said this for the last, you know, fucking since I started really getting into football, like in middle school, high school. But it's amazing to see that these guys finally get the right coaches, get the right things around him. Like now, obviously Bryce Young doesn't have weapons like at most of the other places, like most of the teams that he could have been on. But I mean, at least like his coaches like is getting him to play at least in the preseason better. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? Like he definitely looks better. He looks obviously more confident. Maybe that was just rookie jitters. You know, going to number one overall pick, immediately starting for a shitty ass fucking team. Coach getting fired on like was it week 3 or some shit or week 5, whatever the fuck he got fired. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's good to see him at least hopefully bouncing back. But I mean, the Panthers are still fucking like you said, dumpster fire. That team's fucked. But you know, they got their guy, and that's what
Yeah.
they wanted. But yeah, I think I don't know if Bryce Young would have had the same exact success as Stroud,
I mean,
but
it
he
would have probably
definitely
been close.
yeah. It wouldn't yeah. I think you could have easily plugged and played Bryce Young in for Stroud, and I think Stroud. I don't want to say got lucky because he definitely looked good, but I think he is going to take a step back this year,
Yep.
and he's not going to be as good, and I think he's going to get that sophomore slump this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the Texans. I think the Texans will still probably be a playoff team, but I don't think they're going to be as good as people think they are.
No, I agree. Um,
Especially because last year they played an easier schedule because they were so bad, and this
yeah.
year they're going to be playing all the top teams now. So
I mean, they did get they had a bunch of additions though. Like,
I mean, they did.
they did get
They
Stephon
got Mixon,
Diggs. They got Mixon.
Dixon, maybe. Yeah. I mean, they
So
got players. I mean, they definitely added more weapons.
yeah,
That's why I said they're still going to be a playoff team. They probably will still win that division because I mean, I don't think anyone else is going to really give them a run for their money.
yeah.
But
I know Stephon Diggs is kind of getting older. He's like 29 or 30 or something like that. So, um, but I mean, still a good veteran wide receiver to have. You know.
yeah, oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I was happy this offseason we did sign DJ Moore to the biggest contract that the Bears have ever signed, which is kind of sad because we've never paid a quarterback. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, he got paid and he's happy. And you know, people ask him like, "Hey, did Caleb Williams have a part to play in this?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's fucking really good." I mean, pretty simple. Um, so that definitely made me happy that the guys are. I I do think it is hilarious. Um, all of this talk of Caleb Williams is gonna be a locker room problem and he sucks and you know he's just wants ownership of the team and blah 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 blah. Like none of that fucking ever happened. He was more joking. And you see the guy fucking going out with his teammates, hanging out, singing karaoke. Like, dude, Hard Knocks is okay. We watched Hard Knocks, and I told Jesse this. I don't know if I said on the pod. I probably did. I said I was not going to get a Caleb Williams jersey until he did like one of three things, right? 4,000-yard
Mm-hmm.
passer, or 30 touchdowns, or wins as a playoff game, right? My
Right.
dumbass watched the first episode of Hard Knocks, and they introduced this motherfucker to the 90s Bulls theme music, and I looked over at Krista and I was like, order me a Caleb Williams jersey right now.
You fool.
Dude, he just has so much aura. He's just so fucking cool. And like you see him like like I said, singing karaoke and doing the slip it slide and just being like a fucking awesome teammate. And then like I'm on Twitter today and some little girl's like, I'll trade it you your autograph for my bag of gummy worms. And he's like, hell yeah. And he runs over there, takes the bag of gummy worms and signs all of her stuff. Just like a fucking, he's just a cool dude. Like I don't understand why everybody's like, oh, this guy's gonna be a fucking, he's gonna be such a cancer for that locker room. And everybody's like, no, Caleb Williams is awesome. He rocks. He has like a Caleb's Cares thing where he's starting a foundation nonprofit to stop bullying. Because of all the stuff with the fingernails and the phone and all that stuff. And I'm just like, dude, this guy fucking rocks, man. So
He seems like a good dude, and most of the guys in the NFL are good dudes.
yeah, it
It's
just
very
these guys
rare.
get bad raps, and it's like, who are you to speak on this?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the distraction probably would have been the Justin Fields and Caleb Williams like divide. If you still had players in that locker room that were like, "Yo, we should have kept Justin," or "Yo, we should have kept," like, yeah, like that would have been more of a distraction, not Caleb Williams doing like. And I mean, I haven't seen any reports of him like going out on the town and like, getting drunk or doing anything stupid or or even saying anything political. I mean, I
Mm.
wouldn't really call that a distraction for him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's just a little, let's call it flamboyant.
And that's okay. I might paint
There's
my
nothing wrong with
fingernails
that.
for the
Hey,
games. Who cares?
oh God,
It's fucking fingernail polish.
yeah,
Am I
yeah.
right or am I right?
That's step one, bud. That's how it begins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Before you know it, Caleb Williams is going to be the first starting gay quarterback.
Hey, I don't give a fuck. If he wins us,
I mean,
if he wins us, if he wins us a fucking Super Bowl, I'll be at the LGBTQ rallies. I don't care. He could pledge his
I
allegiance to
just,
Al Qaeda. I would be like, yep, we got on board with it, Caleb. Whatever you want.
oh my God,
The one thing I
oh
did think
my
he
God.
he went on an interview with part of my take and he was like they asked him a pretty awesome question. They were like, if there was a button in front of you right now and you pressed it and one Bears fan died but you won 10 Super Bowls, would you press it? And of course Big Cat's like, dude, I would fucking sacrifice, don't feel bad. And he's like, oh, really? Like, yeah. And they were like, yeah, a lot of people from Chicago would do it. He's like, oh, okay. And then they're like, so would you do it? And he's just sitting there mashing the button. And I'm like, yes, dude. Like, yes, that is a mentality we need to have.
Yeah,
I would volunteer for, like,
whatever it
hey,
takes.
within 30 years, you guys are going to win 10 Super Bowls, but you have to die. I would, like, really consider. Because I'm like, 30 years. I'd be fucking 60, like, almost 60. Yeah, I lived a long enough life, and it would be fucking awesome because I would just hammer the Bears Super Bowl line right as it opens every year and just be like, yep, I'm gonna win a bunch of money and go party and watch the Bears win fucking the Super Bowl, and it would be a thing of beauty.
Yeah, maybe I'll see that one day for the Jets.
Well,
Wishful
let's
fucking thinking.
slow your roll there. Let's let Aaron Rodgers get past 4 snaps, okay?
Oh, I know. That's like I said, my standards are medium.
Mm-hmm.
My expectations and standards are medium for this season.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, fucking happens. It's either going to be a laughing stock or it's going to be entertaining.
Did we talk about the Olympics at all?
Oh, actually, we never even got back to who my surprise was for uh, the preseason.
Oh yeah, we kind of just always ramble on during these podcasts, but who was it?
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go the other way. Like, because you were talking about, like, surprisingly good. I'm going to go the other way, surprisingly horrendous. And that is Daniel fucking
Yeah,
Jones.
dude, I knew.
Oh
I had to laugh because I knew this was
God.
coming a mile away. I
Oh
knew this
my
was coming.
God. That those
What did they
like my
pay him? What are they paying him 40 a
he
year?
got 40. He got 40. So he's cheap.
Dude, but still
Like
40 a year?
I agree.
Tyson, our backup would be a better option.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they should just, for the sake of popularity, just go with fucking DeVito
Yeah, Tommy DeVito, yeah.
or Locke or
Mm-hmm.
Locke. Like they just go with those two and just fucking eat the salary because they're gonna ruin Malik Neighbors. And even just looking at some of the catches that Malik Neighbors has made in practice. I mean, my God. And you're going with
Realistically,
Daniel
Boomy,
Jones
Boomy, realistically, could you throw a better football?
than Daniel Jones.
Yes.
I mean, the real answer is no, absolutely not.
I think I could.
Because
I think I
no,
could.
no, 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 you can't. No, you can't.
Yeah, I think I could.
No, no, you can. Absolutely fucking not. Dude,
If
as
the
bad
Giants,
as
if Daniel
bad.
Jones is listening to this, if you fly me to New York, I will participate in a practice and put my money where my mouth is. I will
Bankrupt your
sign a
entire fucking.
waiver, a liability waiver. I will do whatever I have to do to go head to head with Daniel Jones.
I will bet you a monster.
I think I could do better than Daniel Jones. He is
No,
fucking god awful.
no, like everybody says that. Everybody fucking says that, and like, oh my god, I think my grandmother could throw. In reality, absolutely not. Like, there's a reason why he's a starting quarterback in the NFL right now.
No,
As
the
bad as he
reason why
is,
he's a starting quarterback in the NFL is because they paid him too much money, and the owners are like, "Well, we fucked ourselves."
right? But at least like he knows his throw is, unless you are like fucking just this Cinderella story, like they're gonna make a movie out of. There's no fucking way. There are guys 10 times
How far do you think
better
I could
and
throw the ball?
a standard NFL football
Yeah.
in the air.
Yes.
Mm, I'd say 30, 40 yards maybe.
You're an idiot. You
It's a
remember
lot harder than
Hey,
you
do you
think.
remember Amarius, the
Yeah,
Hispanic dude who
Andrew.
rode? You remember him?
I know him. Yes.
You can ask him. When we were at the Chargers stadium, I was hucking that bitch 55 yards.
Okay. With no
Nope.
rush, no
Nope.
defenders.
Hey, dude. Hey, that's all a mindset. You just got to block that out and you're good. I was saying
Some
on the run,
bullshit, dude.
I'm booting out, throwing it 55 yards on the money. No, I'm not
Dude, you'd
saying
be a
I would go
bigger
down
puss
there and
than Tom Brady sliding, bro.
nope, dude. I will take this challenge. If Daniel Jones or anybody from the Giants organization is listening to this, I will go head to head in a throwing competition with Daniel Jones. And I think I could hold my own. Because at the end of the day, I do not think Daniel Jones is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
No, no, of course he's
After
not.
this contract, he will not be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He will be a
No,
second or third string guy.
he's fucking great value, fucking Russell Wilson right now.
Dude, that fucking no, he's not. Russell Wilson is great value, Russell Wilson. Daniel Jones is very expensive, Russell Wilson.
Expensive. Well, okay, now because he's making $1 million a year.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Daniel Jones is exactly where Russell Wilson was when he went to Denver,
he's
but
so
minus the
bad.
Super Bowl. Minus the Super Bowl.
Has Daniel Jones always played for the Giants?
Yeah, he got drafted by him. They reached so because they were so desperate because
Just like the
fucking
Bears with Mitch Trubisky?
Eli retired. Yeah, but at least like Mitch was like somewhat of a good
No, he
prospect.
wasn't
Like,
even in the conversation with Deshaun Watson or fucking Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion.
yeah, but he was still gonna be a first rounder. Like
No, he was.
Daniel Jones shouldn't have been a first rounder. That's the thing. He just was like the best or like second or third best quarterback in that draft, and the Giants just reached super far to get that fucking dude. They were like, "This is gonna be our guy."
What draft class was
But
he in?
he was 20. Uh, Fuck. I want to say, well, okay, so 4 years from 18,
Okay, he was
2018,
2019. You were a year off.
2019,
Okay, let's
2019.
see all the notable. Okay, Daniel Jones was pick number 6
Yes.
overall. You want to know who was behind him?
It was 2019, so it would be, it was the year before, or 2 years before Zach Wilson, so it would be, oh, shit. Was that Jalen Hurts in the second round?
I don't know. I have the first round right here. I think he was drafted
Oh,
in. Oh wait, hold on. Right here, hold on.
or
Jalen.
maybe Hurts was
Oh my
18.
God, fucking AJ Brown was picked. AJ Brown was picked 51. Ugh, what a
Yeah,
disgust.
he was a good wide receiver, but I mean,
He went to
just
Old
for
Miss
some
too.
reason, people.
DK Metcalf
Yeah.
was there too.
Mm-hmm. But all right, who are the quarterbacks that got
Okay,
drafted after Daniel Jones, or
okay.
just players, whoever you were going to
Players.
say?
Let's just go players. Josh Allen, number 7. Outside
Oh, it was
linebacker.
that draft.
Josh Allen, outside linebacker. Really good Josh Allen. Arguably the best Josh Allen in the league. TJ
Wait a
Hawkins
minute. Oh,
for the
not
for the
Josh Allen
Jags.
quarterback.
Yeah, no, not the
Not
quarterback.
John. Okay, sorry. Yeah,
TJ
good.
Hawkinson,
Okay,
Rashad Gary.
okay.
Dwayne Haskins was after him, which, makes sense. Um, Noah Fant, Josh
Okay.
Jacobs, Marquise Brown, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Abram, N'Keal Harry, which, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Drew Lock, which I mean I would have rather taken Drew Lock there, but um,
The, the whole point of this whole thing is Daniel Jones shouldn't have been in the first round. If the Giants really liked him, they should have waited until the second, and they would have got him, and then they would never have been in this situation. But they
yeah,
fucking so bad for it because they were desperate because Eli was gone. So it was like, what are we gonna do now? Well, we got to draft our guy, and they went with a pretty mobile quarterback that had a decent year at Duke, and they were just like, wow, this is our guy. And because he looks slightly fucking retarded, that they were like, this is Eli 2.0.
that's okay. The 2017 draft will always haunt me. Literally always haunt me, like for the rest of my
Was
life.
that Mahomes?
Mitch Trubisky at number 2.
And that was Mahomes
Yep,
later in the
yep.
15, 17,
Leonard
whatever it
Fournette
was.
number 4, Jamal Adams number 6, Mike Williams number 7, Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey number 8, Mahomes 10, Marshawn Lattimore number 11, Deshaun Watson number 12, Hassan Reddick number 13, Malik Hooker number 15. These are just all people I would take over Mitch Trubisky. Literally all these people, but we have David Njoku, T.J. Watt, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, DeMarcus Walker, Juju Smith-Schuster I would take, Alvin Kamara, Cooper Kupp. Jesus Christ, this just is so depressing every time I read it. Chris Godwin,
Yeah, but some of those guys,
Kareem Hunt, Deonta Foreman.
some of those guys had like issues to the point why they weren't
Yeah,
drafted that
those guys
high.
are all second and third rounds. But like, I mean, if you look at first round guys, I would probably take literally everybody off of the first round draft pick besides Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah,
Like, just dude,
no,
when
it's
when that
definitely.
draft, don't get me wrong, I wasn't like one of those people who was like, Patrick Mahomes is so fucking good, we have to get him. You know.
Oh no,
But I
I actually,
was, I
I was anti
was.
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, were you really?
I was. I thought he was. I didn't think he was going to be great. I think if I honestly think if he would have went to any of the higher teams that were shitty,
Hmm.
I don't think he would have been as good.
I
I think he
I
was very
disagree.
raw.
I
I think
think
he
if
was
he went,
very raw.
no, dude. I think if he went to the
I think he was
Bears with
very
that
raw talent.
2018 defense, I think we would have gotten a lot farther than we did with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, okay, so he probably still would have ended up like as a good quarterback, but I don't think he'd be doing the shit that they be
Yeah,
doing now because
Andy Reid definitely plays a huge part.
yes, because I think Andy Reid has done so much with every fucking quarterback he's ever fucking had.
And he sat behind Alex Smith too, so I mean,
That was also another good thing was he took the year, sat behind a proven veteran quarterback, and obviously we know it now, but I mean, and then Andy Reid has given him flexibility in the offense, so it's like, yeah, if he would have went to the Jets, his career would have been over.
hmm
If he would have went to I don't know who else was in the Texans, maybe I
no,
think he
Texans were
probably would have.
after.
Well, I'm saying like if he would have dropped because I'm just thinking who drafted
Oh
quarterbacks
yeah.
because it was Watson. So if he went to the Texans, I don't remember who was the coach at the time. Was it Kubiak or was it I don't think it was what's his name. Was it fucking the guy that like ran everybody out of town?
Oh fuck, who is that? Yeah.
O'Brien.
O'Brien,
Bill O'Brien.
yes. O'Brien, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't because if he would have went there, would it have been the same thing with Bill O'Brien? It's all these what ifs. We'll never know. But I'll never forget. I commented on one of the I forgot what it was, and everybody was all Jet fans were like, I think it was one of the draft Instagrams or something like during that draft, and everyone was like, "Oh, we got to get Mahomes." Well, one dude was like, "We got to get Mahomes." I'm like, "Nah." I commented, I was like, "Nah, we're not gonna like, I don't think he's gonna be as good as advertised. I think, he's gonna need some time to develop. Jets will ruin him, yada yada yada."
hmm
And I swear to God, it was literally 5 years later, that dude went back to that post and commented, tagged me, and was like, "Oh, you still think Pat Mahomes is a bum?" I was like, dude, that's fucking 5 years later. Are you kidding me?
That dude was
I was like,
like
how?
seething on that fucking comment.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, like, no one knows what any of these fucking quarterbacks, you know,
I will say,
are
like,
gonna be
I
like.
definitely would have rather gotten Deshaun Watson.
I mean, at the
I
time, he
was
was
pounding the
he was the better
table.
quarterback.
Yeah, I was pounding the table for him, dude. I was like,
Yeah,
please draft Deshaun Watson. And then they're like
yeah,
Mitchell Trubisky, and I literally just put my head in my hands, and I was just like,
yeah. Like at the
yeah,
time, he was the better prospect. He was coming from a winner. He won
he
a
was coming
national
from fucking
championship.
Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, he was the much better choice.
Mm-hmm.
Trubisky had like another prospect. I think if he would have gone to the right situation and sat, I think he would have probably been decent,
Yeah.
or he would have had at least had a better career. And then who's the other one? And yeah, Mahomes just went to the right thing situation too. So it's like I don't know. I mean, would Deshaun Watson have been as good that he was in Houston there? Probably. I think he would have been probably the same, and he might still be there. And then you might not have never had fucking Caleb Williams or Justin Fields.
True. All of this was Mitchell Trubisky was he had to fall on the axe for us or fall on the sword to get us Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Well, you never know what's gonna happen, man. You never know who's gonna come out and who's gonna be the talk of the town. I mean, there's, even just looking at like prospects, like you watch the college year when they're freshmen and like they just die off, and like what was his name? He played for Notre Dame. David Robinson's son.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like one of the top receivers going into like that year, and then he just got hurt and didn't perform as good as he did the last year or so, and then he stopped playing. So it's like you never know what's going to happen with the future of these kids. So I mean, even something as like Geno Smith. I mean, if Geno Smith would have came out his junior year, he would have been a first round pick.
Yeah.
He might have even he might have been top 5, honestly.
Yeah,
But because
for
he
sure.
stayed an extra year, fucking sucked. They were like, oh, this guy's oh. And
Mhm.
then he goes to the Jets, and then the Jets basically set him up for failure by having him compete with Tebow and Sanchez,
Yeah.
and don't give him any weapons. They give him a fucking cancer in Santonio Holmes, and Rex Ryan gets like 3 fucking offensive coordinators in 3 years.
Sounds like the
Yeah,
Bears.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a rough patch coming off of 2 AFC Championship games. Just to fucking completely butcher that team, but whatever. I mean, Rex was a great defensive mind, but they just never had a good offensive mind.
Did you guys have, and I can't think of his name. He was the Bears head coach. Fuck.
Bears had
As your offensive
Fox.
coordinator. No, not John Fox.
We had uh it
Tressman?
was I don't did we have Trustman at one point? I don't know. I remember Schottenheimer.
Yeah, Mark
I
Tressman.
remember was he a one for the Jets?
I don't know. What did he?
He might have been if he was for the Jets. It might have been during the Adam Gase years because I stopped even paying attention to the Jets with Adam Gase.
Mark
I
Tressman
legitimately
was,
like
dude,
stopped
Mark
watching the
Tressman was
Jets.
so fucking bad, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean the Jets like they had Schottenheimer and they had some success with him. Then they went to like fucking Sperano, I think was the next one, and then they just like fucking carouseled all these other people who I never heard of. I mean, Tressman might have been a Jets offensive coordinator. Like I don't remember him being there,
That's
but
so funny.
I
Mark
mean,
Tressman just got back into the NFL. He's with the Chargers.
was it like a quarterback coach
Senior offensive assistant or some shit.
assistant? Yeah, so he's probably just like a dude in the booth, like, hey, maybe we should run the ball here. Shut the fuck up, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see all this fucking like how coaches actually do, make a difference for
Yeah,
these fucking guys.
yeah. Alrighty. I think that's it. I think we're gonna cap it off there. Um, I guess before we go, we will say rest in peace to our dear friend Alfred. He suddenly passed away yesterday, and he will be very missed.
Yep. Rest in peace, big guy.
Yep. As you always said, my friend, bear the fuck down. So
Here,
we will see everybody next time.